Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to part 2 of Marvel Zombies Heroes Resistance, a zombie side game. So for some reason you're watching this before part 1, you can go back and check that out. I go over the difference, brief difference of what Heroes Resistance is versus the Kickstarters Marvel Zombies and Marvel Zombies X-Men Resistance. And I also cited in that video is when the big full Kickstarter base game comes out, I will do an comparison with this game so you can kind of see what the differences are, but I don't have that one yet. But this one you get to play as the heroes like the traditional zombie side game. We're playing as characters like Spider-Man, Hulk, and Black Panther versus zombie versions of Captain America and Iron Man. And so the first video I also went through all of the instructions, turn phases, orders, all that. So this one we're going to hop into the components. So we have a bunch of tile sheets. So here we're going to have our experience tiles. So there's blue, yellow, and red. Which are going to show up all our different stats. And then there's like a dark red down there in the 43. What's also fun about this is it's like a heart meter. You can see it like boop, boop, boop. And you can see that like when you're calm and you're in the blue, it's kind of like, oh, there's only 2 blips and you get into yellow. As you get into the red, it gets even higher. That's kind of a neat little effect there. And then you can pinpoint these and just to help keep track of those. Then there's a bunch of broken doors here. These are all broken open doors. The red ones are your main ones. The blue and green stuff, same with these over here, are for special scenarios. Same with like blue, green. They have red different crates you can access. Then if we flip it over, we'll see the closed doors. I like to have all of these as red so you don't know what they are. And then you could flip them over and have a blue and green one. So it might be like, oh, you gotta find the blue and green one. So maybe you have to go through all 4 of them. And then your 4 activation tokens. Alright, then we have all of our standees for our zombies. So these are kind of just nice and little quick ones. So this is like, they're cheaper, kind of like mass market retail. So rather than having a bunch of plastic zombies out, you're just going to get some quick standees. Some people might prefer these. Easier to keep track of the villains versus your playable characters. But you're going to get the walkers, which is the guy at the briefcase. This runner, which is like this jogging woman. And then the brutes, which are these big construction workers. And you're going to get a bunch of them. And they're double-sided. So when they're standing out there, you can easily tell which one's which. Yeah, nice. We're going to get a third token sheet, which is going to have more zombies, more tiles, the Avenger sign, and some bystanders. Our bystanders, of course, we got J. Jonah Jameson, Happy Hogan, Pepper Potts, Wong, Sharon Carter, and Okoye. And then in the back of the Avenger sign, we got a broken one. Because you can use it as a weapon, which is really fun. So you get to use it twice. You can pick it up, throw it once at the enemy, and then use it a second time. It'll be damaged. You can throw it a second time, and then it's destroyed. Then we have our 4 tiles. The tiles are really fun because they're super detailed. So I'm going to try and show these off as best as I can. So here we have Heroes for Hire. So you're going to get the different Heroes for Hire area in there. It's a common room, a bathroom, a bedroom with like 2 pillows. So I'm guessing that's probably like Luke and Jessica's room. And then this kind of looks like maybe a bed that's laying on the floor. Maybe some weights. That might be Iron Fists. Which are the 3 general main members of that group. But as you can see when you enter, if you enter from this side, it's going to show you where the spawn points are. You can enter from these doors as well. There's a door there. There's a door there. It might just depend on where the map actually says to put doors, but those are openings. But yeah, it's definitely fun. You can kind of see what you're getting. So we flip that one over. We have, which I guess, oh, this is our shawarma. So kind of because of the Avengers movies, there's a shawarma restaurant with a kitchen in the back. So bystanders can be hiding in the kitchen. You can jump in and fight some zombies in there. And that's like one reason why I said, like, it might be worth picking up. If you want to have some extra fun custom games, you pick up a second copy. Not a second copy, you pick up the just called Marvel Zombies, where you get to play as the zombies. Now, all of a sudden, you could have Shawarma next to Heroes for Hire, which you can't normally. So that's something you can get if you have the duplicate tiles. Here's a subway. It's just kind of works nice as a way to run around something, get around. And we flip that over. We have a bunch of rooms. We have Oscorp. There's of course the Goblin Glider, some labs. I like this fun little corner here. It's not part of the actual building. Now, there's neat about this is there's a lot of little details and stuff like that, but there's not a lot of super specific stuff. Like getting like a mask or something lying around, or like pumpkin bombs or something like that. So here we just have a retail store. Some clothes strung along. There's like a Ghost Rider poster. Like, yeah, it would have been kind of neat if they'd had more direct nods to like some of the superhero characters, and maybe some of the other sets do. Like maybe the X-Mansion has more stuff. Like here's the Wakandan Embassy, but you can just barely tell it's a Wakandan Embassy. Just kind of there's sort of like an African-y theme. There's a Black Panther. But yeah, otherwise this could almost be shoved into any other zombie side game and you wouldn't know the difference. And our fourth tile is a grocery store. So there we go. You got a couple different grocery stores, a couple different areas to go into. And if we flip that over, we have the Daily Bugle. Which again, like Daily Bugle, definitely Marvel themed. But there's nothing there's some pictures of like Spider-Man like floating around up there. But other than that, it's really all that really screams that this is a Marvel thing. Maybe some of the newspapers. But yeah, not a ton of other stuff. But definitely still really detailed to look at. Alright, so there are 4 different maps and tiles. Let's look at some miniatures and cards. So we're going to also get this bag of stands. This is for all your zombies, your tokens. So you can go ahead and stick all of them together. Alright, I wanted to do... Let's look at our characters. So up first, we're going to have Spider-Man. So we'll look at our heroes first. And see if I can find him. Alright. So there's our Spider-Man miniature. So now, you're going to notice he's in a different pose than he is on the card. So the pictures on the cards are the sculpts from the Kickstarter version of the game. And like so some of these characters are their pictures and their things is they might be either available in one of the other versions of the games, whether it's an expansion pack or it's a stretch goal. So the ones in here they're gonna have different sculpts. So it's definitely kind of cool. But now if like you pick up the other Marvel Zombie one, you play as you pick up the just one called Marvel Zombie. I wish they had better naming for this. You pick up the regular one where you're playing as the zombies. One of the heroes you fight against is Spider-Man. So Spider-Man's gonna have an artwork that looks like that. But he's not gonna have this card. He's not gonna have those abilities. Generally with him because he's not playable that way. So there we go. Alright, so and when you do get a playable version of him, when you get the playable version of him, so you can play as him, I think it might come with it, so that way you can cross-play with him. He's going to have different abilities. Alright, so let's look at what he does. He has 3 health, up at the top. There's his power on the side, so you'll get 1 point every turn. And you can use that power to spend by spending his abilities. So he has Heroic Rescue. So now these blue, yellow, kind of red, and the dark red, those are your experience points. As your experience goes up, you unlock more of them. So when you start off, you're in the blue, he has Heroic Rescue. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to move 1 bystander or 1 superhero from an adjacent zone into your zone. So it's kind of cool. You can web someone to bring them towards them, so it works as a nice range. Yeah, every turn he's always going to gain at least 1, but maybe he needs to do multiple heroes, multiple bystanders. You might have to spend an action to gain an extra point. Then when we hit the next one, he's going to gain 1 action. This is a common ability for every character. So when you hit that second level, you always gain an extra action. His third ability is Web Shooters. Once during each enemy phase, when enemies in the zone of your choice within range 2 would move, you may spend 1 power to prevent them from moving. Yeah, so it's kind of fun. So you can, if there's any enemies in the zone, so it's not just a single enemy, it's any enemies in that zone. So it's kind of Spider-Man sort of fun. You can use 1 point to pull guys away, and you can use another power point as you get farther through to stop enemies from coming after them. If you get to your last thing, like your full experience. It says each time enemies spawn within range 2, before any rush, you may perform 1 free attack or move action. So that's definitely fun as well. So Spider-Man can hit a guy right away, maybe take out like some of the weaker guys before they even get a chance to attack. Or if it's maybe a harder guy, maybe he can't take out a brute, or maybe he can't take out a superhero. He can try and get away. And then his general attack is melee, 0 range, 3-4 acrobatics. Alright, let's look at our next hero. We have Black Panther, King T'Challa. So yeah, this version's models. I apologize for my poor fingers here. Trying to get some good shots of these guys. I don't really want to zoom in, but yeah, so the sculpts are definitely good. They're going to be as quality, but they don't come with these cool bases that the other guys do. So Black Panther also has 3 health. He has Hard Slash. Before attacking with the Vibranium Claws, you may spend 1 power to have enemies suffer -1 toughness to a minimum of 1. And may not reroll any dice. So his Vibranium Claws, he rolls 2 dice, but he has 3. So he gets 1 less die than Spider-Man, but he also needs to roll less high numbers. And then he can spend powers that reduce their toughness to 1. Now, walkers and runners each have 1 toughness anyhow. So it's not going to really affect them. So it's more for taking out brutes and superheroes. So you can have him run in, take out these heavier guys very quickly. 1 action, and then his third one is Leaping Charge. During your turn, you may spend 1 power to move up to 2 zones into a zone containing enemies, ignoring enemies on the way. Then perform 1 free Vibranium Claw attacks. So where Spider-Man was all about pulling guys out or maybe preventing guys from moving, Black Panther's all about hopping into the thick of it. So he can hop in there with his 1 ability, ignoring any other guys, so he can pay actions to keep moving. And then he can get a free attack off, and then he can also use another one if he has to reduce their toughness. And then kinetic feedback. Each time you would suffer a wound, you may spend 1 energy. Roll 1 die for each wound. On 3+, prevent that wound and eliminate 1 walker, brute, or runner in your zone. So again, if he's in there, he's already in the thick of it, fighting these guys melee. If he takes damage, he can roll it. But the whole thing is you need to manage your power levels so that you're not... Do you jump in? Do you do 3 attacks, or do you do 2 attacks and gain extra power? So you have more power built up, so you can do kinetic feedback, or you can do your other attacks quick. You just kind of got to figure out what you need to do. Alright, our third hero is the Wasp. It's definitely a fun-looking character. Like the little connecting patterns on the wings, plus her base has screw heads and some nuts. So you can kind of, oh, she's supposed to be really tiny. So she has Wasp Sting. So she does 0 to 1 range. She has 2 and 3, much like T'Challa, Black Panther. She has diminutive size. Ignore target priority when attacking. Do not spend extra action when leaving zones with enemies. So she gets to move freely away from enemies, and she can attack whoever. So she can kind of zip in, attack a walker if she needs to, if there's someone higher, and then she can run back out. She can kind of make hit and runs on whoever she needs to. +1 action, then biosynthetic wings. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 action to perform 1 move action, moving up to 3 zones and ignoring enemies. So instead of using a power, she can actually spend extra actions to do more moves and ignore enemies. So definitely a great thing. She can get some extra free moves out of that. And then flyby attack. Each time you enter or exit a zone with an enemy, you may eliminate 1 walker, brute, or runner. So again, very hit and run character. Now you're also going to notice though, none of her actions let her use powers. So what's the whole point of her getting them? Those are going to be the trait cards, which we will see later on. Let me see if I can dig one out quick though. So we might have something like this, like Determined. Discard during your turn and spend 1 power to perform 1 free attack action. So you're going to get these trait cards that you can use. So it also does something like that, where Spider-Man and Black Panther are probably going to be using their power a lot. Someone like Wasp doesn't need to, so she can be focused on using these traits a lot more. Up next, we have the Vision. So I love his sculpt on there, the other one, because he's going through that rock. But here was a nice, cool one. This is not my favorite costume though. I like this traditional red and green one better than this green-red one. It's too busy. At least in my opinion. Because it's, that full green with like a red accent, which is, I guess, okay, but then there's a light green in there and then the red's all spread. Like, if it was like red just straight down, maybe, but yeah, I know. It's just kind of me. Alright, he has Energy Beam, so he also gets a range, but his is more like Spider-Man. You throw a 3, and he gets 4, so a little bit stronger. Adaptive Strategy. When drawing hero traits, you may draw 2 and select 1, shuffling the other trait back into the deck. So when you get to them traits, this is going to be definitely great for him. He can pick and get a little bit more chance to pick and choose what he really needs to use. 1 action, and then Hologram. At the start of each enemy phase, you may spend 1 power, select 1 zone within 2 range. Enemies treat that zone as having superhero in it when activating during this phase. So you can kind of pick an area and force enemies to kind of go that direction. It works as a distraction. So like, he might work really well with like the Wasp, or he could work well like Wasp, because then he can maybe hit and run while they're all going the other direction. She can maybe zip in and zip out while they go a different direction. Or maybe work well with Panther, maybe get him closer to Panther, maybe away from everybody. Definitely different teamwork combinations you can do here. And then Natural Tactician. Once during your turn, you may allow 1 other superhero to draw 1 free hero trait, then perform 1 free action, then resume your turn. So that's definitely cool. So basically he's like, hey, I'm doing my thing, quickly jump in, do something, and then come back and I'll finish up my turn. So definitely a neat extra little ability. Alright, our next character is the Winter Soldier. Good old Bucky Barnes. He's gonna stab zombies with a knife. Alright, so Winter Soldier here has Combat Blade. 0 range, 2 and 3 accuracy. Assassinate. Each time you attack with a Combat Blade, you automatically eliminate 1 walker or runner in your zone. So like Black Panther, he's going to want to be up close and dealing damage. So you're going to get in there, he can take out them cheaper guys very quickly. Those smaller guys. He has 1 action, and Combat Reflexes. Each time enemies enter your zone, you may spend 1 energy to immediately perform 1 free combat action. So this is great. He saves his power up. Enemies enter his zone, he can be like, boom, I'm already gonna spend 1 energy to immediately take out 1 walker or runner, which definitely can make his job a lot easier. And then finally, he has hand-to-hand expert. When attacking with combat blade, you may reroll any die. Once during your turn, you may perform 1 free combat blade action. So not only does he get a free action every turn to attack, which he can also use his assassinate ability again to eliminate 1 walker or runner for free. So he gets basically 1 free elimination every turn. He can also get a reroll his die, so if he misses stuff, he can come back. So definitely a fun kind of character. I think he'd be kind of like a mixture of like Black Panther and Wasp. He's kind of want to do some hit and run, because he's not gonna probably want to stay on there too much. There's a lot of defense. And then finally we have the Hulk as our last hero. Big old Bruce Banner. It's kind of interesting if you think about what characters all survived, like with this game, like Spider-Man. Oh, he's agile. Spider-Man, yeah, he can see him dodging around. Black Panther, very aware of what's all going on. Same thing with kind of like Winter Soldier. He's gonna be focused on threats around him all the time, so you can kind of see him staying alive. The Vision and the Wasp have like intangibility and shrinking. And then Hulk is just a big brute. So you can kind of see why they picked these 5 characters. They work really well as ones you could see being like, oh, okay, I could get why they would be survivors. Hulk is a little bit special here because he has 5 health instead of 3. His attack is Smash. He's 0 range, 3 and 4. He has Gamma Ray. You have 5 health. At the start of each of your turns, gain 1 power for each wound you have suffered. So he's going to gain a lot more power a lot quicker. Not as quick as he takes damage. Action and then Thunderclap. When attacking with Smash, you may replace your base die with 1 die for each enemy in the zone before bonuses, ignoring zombie heroes for this attack. So you can take a bunch of small guys really quick. So if he's fighting like 5 or 6 small little zombies, he can just clap and get that many extra die. And then he has PD Zombies. You cannot suffer wounds from walkers or runners. So someone might be like, why wouldn't you always play as Hulk? He's the big guys. Definitely he's like your tank. Exactly. Like, you're playing a 4-player game, you have 6 different characters. You can always include Hulk if you want, but maybe you don't want the Hulk. Maybe you're like, you know what? Maybe he's making the game too easy for you. Pick somebody else. But it's definitely a fun little thing. Maybe that's the point of this Hulk, is the idea is he's supposed to help, maybe for like the earlier games or the people that are newer to playing, to kind of give them a handicap. But again, I also think though, if he's sitting in there, he's going to take a lot of damage. Alright, so let's look at some other components here we have. So we're going to have these little clips, which are going to go on your characters. 1 for each character, so that will keep track of your power and your health. And this is one of the things where the Marvel Zombie Kickstarter, I guess how I'm going to have to refer to it, is you're going to get like special base components with little pegs and stuff versus just little slidey things. Then we also get bases to go on them, so you can keep track of which hero is which. So I got the green one, I got the blue one. Just because at generally look at them, they look like little black or little blobs. And there's some pins for your things, for your bases. Then we have the guy, which I'm not going to try and pull it here, but they kind of look like little blood splatters. And then the one side is teeth marks. So that's kind of fun. Zombie teeth. Alright, we do have 4 other characters to go through. We're going to look at some of the cards quick. So we're going to have the Avengers Sign reference cards. This is if you're using the Avengers Sign. There's regular, there's the damage signs. This is showing you can use this as a weapon. 1 to 2 range, roll star number of dice, and 4 accuracy. Roll 1 dice for each enemy in the targeted zone. Heroes are ignored for this attack. So kind of like the Hulk thing, you can do damage, but you have to ignore the superheroes, assuming that they're going to be smart enough to dodge something that's slow. Flip the token goods damage sign after the first use, remove it after the second use. Alright. So then we have a couple other different cards. So we're going to have our Bystanders. So now these backs here, which is kind of fun. So like these backs are going to show characters around in the game because they're using the same backs as the one from the full Kickstarter version. And I think they just did that way if like you happen to mix and match these, or if you bought any expansions, you should be able to potentially mix and match the expansions with this game, which is definitely a great idea. So Bystanders, if you rescue them, basically you use them as special abilities. So if you have J. Jonah, it's going to say, if enemies spawn within range 2 before any rush, you may spend 1 power to move 1 zone, ignoring enemies. So a rush is a special action card that will appear for some of the zombies, which basically means normally if they spawn, they just spawn. But if they get a rush attack, it means when they spawn, they get to attack immediately. This is kind of bad. Then we have Pepper Pots. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 energy to draw 1 heroic trait. Now you can only have 2 heroic traits at a time. So if some of them let you discard them and use them up, other ones are maybe active or static bonuses. So if you get one, you might just have to discard. And then we have Happy Hogan. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 energy to push all enemies in your zone into an adjacent zone. Definitely helpful. Again, this is something like maybe with like Wasp, who didn't have a lot of stuff with his power, or Winter Soldier, who didn't have a lot of power actions. You could be using these to like move guys away from you, or move them into position, or use some of the other characters and move them to maybe away from you, or maybe move them towards one of your other melee characters. Definitely some interesting combos. So now these guys have the fist icon, which means they have an attack. So you have Okoye. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 energy to perform 1 free melee attack. Definitely fun, get extra attack there. Again, if you use that combined with like Winter Soldier, a free combat blade, which doesn't work. I think it's just a free melee attack. It's not combat blade. There's Sharon Carter performing. After performing a ranged attack, you may spend 1 energy to reroll any missed dice. And then we have Wong. After performing a melee attack, you spend 1 energy to reroll any misses. So you get a couple of different options there. And again, the other games are going to add more different zombies. Bystanders. Alright, then up next we have the zombie deck. So now these are the zombies you would get in the X-Men Resistance set. This is the back. So you have Hellfire Club, members are your runners. Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man are your walkers, which are the ones you have a lot of. And the big guy here, the Brute, is a Reaver who's on like tank treads, if I remember. And again, they're showing these because then you can mix these in with your other ones. So you guys have like some regular zombies mixed in with other characters. Alright, so when you have to spawn a character, you'll draw one of these cards. If you draw this one, which is Walkers, depending again on what experience level you're at, will determine how money you spend. But now, what makes this game interesting, the other zombie side games are like this as well, is it's not the person's turn it is, because you are turn collective. It also has to do with the experience points, whoever has the highest. So if I have Spider-Man out and he's still in the blue level, but then I have Black Panther out there who's been running around just murdering things left and right, and he's up into the orange, but Spider-Man's been standing back dodging stuff, I will spawn the orange, the 7, because he's the highest level. So there's another little thing, another thing to kind of keep in mind is that Although some of the guys might be better at maybe staying out, or maybe you're trying to dodge around, or one guy's trying to draw attention. If you let one person gain too much experience versus everyone else, the other people aren't going to get their abilities, but you're going to fight harder and harder threats. So yeah, so you get 2, 3, 7, and then 9. You're going to get a couple of these guys, which will have different numbers, like 2, 3, 5, 7, 2, 5, 7, 9, or 3, 5, 7, 9. This one goes all the way up to 10. Then we have Walker Rush, which does some of those numbers. Then they get to activate. So they might attack, they might move, they do everything you need to do. And then we get 2 of those. We have our Brutes. I'm going to kind of just go through. So now you're going to get less Brutes because they're a little bit harder to fight. You have Brute Rush. The Walkers are basically, they're not hard to fight. 1 hit point, or one toughness, 1 action. But there's going to be a lot of them. Then we got our Runners. We're going to be kind of in the middle. Then we have Zombie Hero. And we get 2 of those right there. To always only spawn 1 Zombie Hero. And we have a set of those. And we'll look at those in just a minute. And again, you're going to see the X-Men ones, because those are the ones where that's the set you get to play as heroes. And then later in the deck here, we have some other different cards. I don't know why they have them mixed up like this. Different numbers on all of them. We get some more Rushes. We have some more Walkers. We have some Zombie Heroes. So it also needs, these just say Zombie Heroes rather than inserting a random hero in there, because you randomly draw from the deck. Like they could have been like, oh, we're gonna just put these right in there. You just shuffle them in. Instead, they just have a Zombie Hero, because that way you can mix and match all your different characters. Then when someone dies, you can actually pull them. You reshuffle them back into the pool. So if like Zombie Cap dies, you shuffle him back in there. Or if you put that card in the deck, he might not get shuffled back in quick enough. Then we have some special ones here. We have extra activation. So it's all Walkers get, unless you're in the blue, get 1 extra activation. And the same thing with Brutes. We got 1 for Runners, and we got 1 for Zombie Heroes. So those ones can kind of suck because they can get in there. Then we have 2 copies of Bystanders in Danger. So this has to deal with all Walkers. So if they're in there, so spawn 1 Bystander, and then activate all Walkers in 1 range. So this is spawn Bystander, they'll try and attack them. Which is sometimes can be bad. Well, it's always bad. Because we don't want to lose those guys. Alright, let's look at our zombies. So we're going to get Zombie Captain America. So even still doing the chart, these are definitely cool. Like the little Hydra plate below him. There's of course a shield, nice and pristine, even though like he's falling apart. Big gouge out of his leg. Big gouge out of his arm. So that's where you get like Winter Soldier's gonna fight him. So Zombie Cap has 3 health or toughness. So when his zone is attacked, roll 1 die for each successful hit. On a 5+ cancel that hit. So he can protect everyone else in his area. And again, you have to target these guys first. So it's not even like you can try and weed off a couple of the small guys. Like, you know, oh, I rolled 3 die. I got 3 hits. But then Captain America can stop 2 of them. It's not like, oh great, I took him out. Nope, I didn't take him out. Because you have to deal 3 damage to take one of these guys out. It's not, I did 1 and they have a hit point sitting on them. So that makes these guys a lot harder. Up next, we got good old Iron Man. So now that one looks cool because his mask is open. We don't get a mask open on this one, unfortunately. But I love that we get beat up armor. It's hard to tell he's a zombie. But then again, you know, you got like the zombie arm flesh sticking out there because his armor broke off. But here we have, he has 4 toughness. If he ends his activation at a range of 1 to 2 within line of sight to a zone with any superhero, he attacks that zone. So basically, you gotta stay out of his sight or he's going to attack you. Then we got Scarlet Witch. Good old Wanda here. And she definitely looks like a zombie. Rawr. And I dropped her. Alright. 3 health, 3 toughness. She has. Superheroes must roll all hits while in her zone. So if you roll a hit, then you have to re-roll them. Not again, just the one time. But still, that's a pain. And finally, we have Doctor Strange. There's Doctor Strange with his crazy stop pose. Again, his other miniature's a lot cooler because he's doing like a hand motion, like casting an actual spell, but it's definitely cool. And he has 3 toughness, and when he activates, if he is not in his zone with a superhero, his first action, he moves closest to the zone with a superhero, so basically he gets a free attack when he activates. And like I said with the other heroes, why you can see why they might not have gotten bitten for like strength or evading, or things like that. You can kind of also see why these other 4 characters might have gotten bit. Like Captain America, is going to be probably right up in the front. He's gonna, hey, there's something in danger. He's going to be right on the bow. You can see why he might have gotten turned. Iron Man, I kind of feel like similar thing. He might be like right in the front row, but also you might, well, he has his armor, it's going to protect him. Yes, but he's also cocky and arrogant because of his armor. He probably figures, oh, nothing can break through my armor. Well, probably only taken one of the other zombies, or enough of them hitting on him to just break enough to crack his armor, get into his skin, something like that. And then like Doctor Strange and Wanda, I think again it's kind of that like arrogance, cockiness. They're probably figuring like, oh, we got magic that'll protect us. This'll keep us safe, and then they're not. That's just sort of my thought on why those guys would get turned, because they wouldn't be as cautious as everybody else. But those are the 4 different zombies we get to fight. Again, like 1 dies, we get 1 back. Our final cards are the heroic traits. So these will be the fun extra little abilities on our characters, and you're going to get 2 copies of each. So you have 2 resourceful. Discard before attacking to gain 1 range. So this is what's really going to make the game a little bit different. I think in other zombie side games, there are like weapons and stuff, like you picked up guns and swords and stuff like this, but Marvel characters don't usually use various weapons, but they have different traits they can get. So those are different things you can do to help boost your stuff. And since you get like this, when you discard, you can keep getting one every turn, and you can keep paying extra abilities to keep getting these. You're gonna cycle through these a lot, so it doesn't make sense not to use these. We have Guardian. Discard when enemies move into a zone within range 2 containing a bystander or superhero. Move into that zone ignoring enemies. So it's going to help you team up with somebody else. We have Tenacious. Discard after attacking to reroll any die. Tactical. Discard during your turn to spend 1 power. Select 1 zone within 2 range. Enemies in that zone activate and attempt to move towards your zone. Kind of like a taunt. Inspirational. Discard during your turn and spend 1 power. Another superhero within 1 range may immediately perform 1 action. Definitely great there, especially if someone like Wasp, who she's running around, she's doing herself. She doesn't need to use her power. So she has something like this. That's gonna definitely help, because she can like boom, and then she can get near someone, have them come in and finish them off. We have Agile. Discard when enemies enter your zone, and immediately move 1 zone, ignoring enemies. Courageous. Discard during your zone and spend any amount of power. Heal the same amount of your wounds. I feel like this is one you're going to be trying to like recycle as quickly as possible, or hanging on to. Now, I believe you can pass traits between other characters. I have to double check that in the rules, though. Unstoppable. Discard when attacking and spend 1 power. Enemies suffer -1 toughness. This would be a great way to help you take out those superheroes. True Grit. Discard when enemies move into your zone. Perform 1 free attack targeting your zone. Might. Discard before attacking to spend 1 power to reroll 3 dice. To roll plus 3 dice. Definitely great there. So like this last one though, just to point this out, so you're targeting a zone. So if I'm playing Black Panther and I'm in a zone, and there's 4 zombies, I'm not picking one of the zombies to attack. I'm attacking all of them. Then I roll my dice, and then it's like, okay, I got 3 hits. I get to now dish them hits out however I want. If there's a superhero, I have to deal them to them first. So hopefully I have enough power to take them out. But if I'm just fighting, like a brute and like 2 walkers and a runner, and I get 2 hits, I have to deal them to like the one character's person priority order. But like I can decide which ones I want to get rid of. So you're always attacking the full zone. You don't have to pick a specific character to attack. Focused. Before discarding an attack, or discard before attacking to add +1 to the die result, ignoring target priority for this attack. So this is great. So like, I don't care about the superhero. Forget him. I need to take out this runner who's getting 2 attacks every turn. Or maybe I don't care about the brute. I need to take out that character. Or maybe I need to take out that brute first. There we go. We have dash. Discard when moving. Spend any amount of action to move that many additional zones. Determined. Discard during your turn and spend 1 action to perform 1 free attack. Power up. Discard during your turn to perform 1 free power up action. And then finally, just to make things difficult, we get 2 copies of Ambush. Which says, spawn 1 walker in your zone, then draw another trait card. So they kind of just pop up and hit you. There's the instructions. So, traits. Alright. Once we just looked at this, we just want to quickly look. Player draws the top card from the trait and places it next to their hero ID. Superheroes can only perform a single trait action per turn. Although other effects, you only put 1 gain action per turn. Each superhero may only have 2 traits at a time if they already have 2. When they draw a new one, they may discard the newly drawing one or discard and replace one they've already had. If the trait deck ever runs out, reshuffle it. Have powerful effects for a discard after a single use. Each hero trait has specific instructions, so the 2 traits can be used together if the requirements are met. So you might have one that like you need to I can move and then I can perform an extra action. I did not see anything about trading them, so I guess you can't. I thought maybe you could. Double checking all of that. I don't see that. One other thing we do want to point out about bystanders. I kind of skipped over this before. When enemies activate, treat bystanders as potential targets, just like superheroes. If a bystander is their closest target, they'll move towards it. By different bystanders, the superheroes are equally eligible targets to decide who the enemy targets. Bystanders eliminate. Identified by an attack symbol on the card, combat bystanders put up some resistance against zombie hordes. Each kind of combat bystander would be suffered a wound. They roll 1 die. On a 5, they prevent that wound. Bystanders eliminated upon suffering 1 wound, and triggers the bystander devoured. If a superhero rescues them, they may choose to discard it. If a superhero has rescued a bystander, they may choose to discard it in order to prevent 1 wound they would suffer. This should not be taken lightly, as though it triggers bystander devoured below. Combat bystanders don't get to roll a die when discarded. So basically, What that's saying is you can feed one of your bystanders to an enemy zombie to avoid taking hit, but it's going to trigger this action. So if a bystander is ever devoured, each bystander gets eliminated, triggers the effect of all heroes lose 1 power. So even if it's Hulk feeds Happy Hogan to Captain America, everyone loses a power, and they almost discard 1 trait. So it's definitely 2 things you probably don't want to happen. You don't want to take it lightly. So someone might have to decide though. But it might be the difference between life and death. Like, hey, we have to lose all this stuff or I die. So unless you're going to win the next turn by keeping that power or that trait. But you also want to be careful because, you don't want to sacrifice that and then all of a sudden, oh great, everyone else lost 1 power and 1 trait. Now they can't win on the next turn, so the next turn is just going to cascade and everybody's going to die. It might be worth sacrificing 1 hero. Yeah, so that's just a little interesting thing there. Alright, that is what we have for this game. I don't have anything else in the box, but oh, there we go. Alright, so that's Marvel Zombies Heroes Resistance. Again, when the full Marvel Zombies comes out, where we get to play as the zombies, which is definitely cool, we'll do an unboxing for that, and then we'll kind of do a comparison video so you can see some of the different stuff. Then sometime next year, when all of the other content comes out and we get like the X-Men Resistance, we'll do those videos and maybe another comparison type video, seeing what all the stuff is. Until then, see you guys later. Bye.